From your perspective, what do you see as the biggest advancement in the area of licensing and merchandising?
I thought you'd ask that question, Mark.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to come out with the answer, and then I'll come back to why I think the answer is what it is. It's digital, but I'm going to tell you a story first about, and I'll come around to why I think digital is the biggest advancement in the last, I guess, 20, 25 years now. Our biggest licensing categories are video games, trading cards, and apparel. You think back to when I started my job, my first interview at the NHLPA, I walked into the offices and it was an eye opener. I was coming from a law office which had, books and fine art on the walls. And I walk into the NHLPA and I'm interviewing with Bob Goodnow, and there are posters of players. There are, starting lineup figurines. I'm not sure if anybody remembers those, but the old articulated figurine of figurines of players. There were trading card boxes and video games, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I think that's what really has been the trend of licensed products from the beginning of time. You look back to the 1930s, 40s, 50s, in the 60s. There weren't very many licensed products out there. There were trading cards, there were posters, there were some premium products that companies associated with the teams released. There were calendars from cigarette companies that had players' images in them, and that's really been what has been the mainstay of the licensed products for years. And I think the reason why is because it's cool. People like those things. People like collecting. People like collecting, jerseys. Fans like to wear their colors. The Montreal Canadiens jerseys all over Toronto when Montreal plays here. The Toronto Maple Leafs jerseys in Ottawa all the time. People like to collect things. And I think what's evolved, the products have evolved. The trading cards have become more sophisticated with inserts and pieces of game jerseys and pieces of puck and pieces from tires on some cards that were made for NASCAR events and things. But I think what has maintained for decades is just that cool factor of having something in your hands. Now, I say digital has probably been the biggest advancement, but not because of the products that they're releasing. We've all seen NFTs. It was all exciting, and it's now in the dumps. Like there's no value in NFTs anymore. Some interesting digital products that have come out that people thought were going to be home runs. MVP.com Sports, which was a digital e-commerce platform that was headed by Gretzky, Ouellet, and Jordan. Now, you think you could make it with anybody, it would be with those guys. That didn't work. I think why it didn't work was the need for that constant engagement and involvement. And unless you're going to have people involved in your digital products, they're going to be constantly engaged, putting out messages about what they had for lunch, dinner, and supper, or how they went, for walks with the dogs. People are just going to lose interest in those things. The digital piece that I think is the most impactful over the past 25 years is e-commerce. And so it's not the products, it's the same products as we've always loved, the t-shirts and the souvenirs and the pucks and all those things. But now e-commerce, you can get a University of Oregon jersey delivered to you in 2 days. So I think that as we look at the evolution, obviously we've got to stay engaged with new things, new developments, and digital is certainly all over the place. But I would recommend to people who are preparing their product and marketing mix just to be patient, let that product or that development earn itself out, and pay attention to the stuff that people really want. People want to collect baseballs, they want to collect pucks, they want to collect jerseys, and it's cool. Those things are still cool. So be mindful of the real products, the products that we've seen in the market for decades. They're not going anywhere, in my view.